Happy Halloween, or just about. What is up, everybody? Film Club, we are here. What's going on? It's like our Halloween spooktacular or whatever, I guess, because it's the end of October and we've been watching cool movies, and we watched a really great one that I hope you got a chance to check out because it was fun as hell. I'm your friend Carson Higgins. This is mine and your friend Groot, and we do this all the time. So if you're never here, come on back. If you're always here, welcome back. But yeah, dude, we watched such a weird movie. It's not that weird, I guess. It's really not. But it was like, it feels off the beaten path. For those that know this film, they're like, beaten path your ass, my friend. This movie's a classic. But I don't feel like everyone has seen it. You may think that, like, you know, a movie like Rocky Horror Picture Show that they still show at midnight showings all the time, it's still very much like a part of popular culture in many ways. This film sits right next door to Rocky Horror Picture Show. I mean, it's a 70s rock opera. It's based on Phantom of the Opera with a little Faustian element in there as well. You guys, this is Brian De Palma's 1974 rock opera killer cult classic, The Phantom of the Paradise. This movie is rad. This movie's got music. It's got really great music by Paul Williams, who is in the film as well. Paul Williams, if you're like me, you're like, is that the dude in that Daft Punk song? Yes. Yes, it is the dude in that Daft Punk song, Touch, from Random Access Memories. It is that guy. However, turns out Paul Williams is like a super famous fucking guy. And he's made a lot of music, been on TV, and he's in movies. He's in a Planet of the Apes movie. But he wrote that song, We've Only Just Begun, right? He wrote Evergreen for the Barbra Streisand Star is Born, won an Academy Award and a Grammy. And the guy's pretty prolific, so it isn't that crazy to me that he wrote all of the music for this movie. But what does strike me as strange, as with Rocky Horror Picture Show, it was the Rocky Horror Show first, right? It was live on stage, and then they made it into a movie. Your boy Brian De Palma, who's like secretly becoming one of my, I guess not secretly, the guy is like way better than we give him credit for. I mean, people give Brian De Palma credit, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he gets enough credit. He is the sole writer of this film, and he directed this film. In the 70s, your boy Brian De Palma also made a film called Sisters, which I haven't seen yet, but he also made Carrie, which is like one of the best movies ever, and definitely one of the best horror movies, definitely one of the best Stephen King things. Anyway, Brian De Palma comes out swinging. This guy makes a killer fucking movie. Phantom of the Paradise blew my mind. I'm a big Phantom of the Opera fan. Andrew Lloyd Webber, where you at? This movie, like, I'm like, why isn't there a stage version of Phantom of Paradise? Because it's just too cool. Yeah, I mean, let's get into it. My friend Jessica Harper, who, if you watched Suspiria with us recently, she was the lead in that. This is her first movie. So Brian De Palma is just out here like discovering actors left and right. He's the guy who discovered Robert De Niro. He's like, hey Marty, you should use my friend Robert De Niro. Yeah, okay, Brian De Palma's the shit. But yeah, dude, this movie crushes. It's got an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics liked it, audiences liked it. It is an enduring classic. I personally watched it on the Criterion Channel this week because it was added to the Criterion Channel for October. Maybe that's how you watched it as well. But I feel like this movie couldn't have entered my life at a better time. I've been watching so many horror or horror adjacent movies this month. My cat is freaking out. That this was a very like welcome sort of palate cleanser because it's not scary, but it certainly is like weird enough to where it's totally a movie that you should have on in October at some point in your month. This cat is crazy. Let's get into it a little bit. Our guy Winslow Leach, poor Winslow Leach, he's our very own little Faust, right? He sold his soul for rock and roll. Or did he? My man Winslow deserved much better. He comes in that first scene and plays the song Faust, and it's just him on the piano, camera swirling around him, and we hear the entire song. And it's a beautiful song. It's a haunting, beautiful song where the line, dream a bunch of friends and dream of them smiling and hold on to this memory or whatever. It was like, this is so tragic and beautiful. But of course, this movie's ulterior motive is just ripping into the music industry and record executives. And there's a lot of jokes about contracts. And there's jokes about like room full of executives taking advantage of the girls who are trying to audition for the band. And just a general lack of humanity from the record people. Paul Williams, who I talked about, plays Swan, who is like this scheming record exec guy who is opening the Paradise, this rock music hall, and he wants to have the best opening ever. And he's like, I need that music by that guy, Winslow Leach. But I don't need Winslow Leach. I just need his music. And of course, he steals his music. Winslow Leach gets framed, put in prison, and without spoiling too much, let's just get straight to the point. My man suffers an accident, right? A record printing press accident. He gets his face all fucked up, and that's why he gets that bitchin' helmet, which is like one of the most iconic masks ever. It's so sick. It's like some part motorcycle helmet, some part owl mask, and then like Phantom of the Opera mask. It's really cool. But yeah, Winslow's got a mean streak. He gets a little violent sometimes, especially when you try to tell him that other people are going to sing his music. He really doesn't like that. Unless, of course, you're Jessica Harper, Phoenix, in this movie, because he does take to her. And much like Phantom of the Opera, he wants her to sing his music. And if she's not going to do it, then he's going to kill anyone that tries. So, of course, when Swan is like, fuck this, I'm getting somebody cool, a rock star, to come in, we get one of my favorite supporting characters I've ever met in Beef. Beef is incredible. He's ridiculous. He's stupid as fuck. But he's majorly queer-coded. He has like this very effeminate, like lispy sort of speaking voice, and then a very like screamy, guttural, rock and roll singing voice. He sort of reminds me of Meatloaf in Rocky Horror. He is a little bit of like that vibe. I didn't even talk about this band that like keeps showing up. They're the Juicy Fruits. They're the Undead at one point. They're another band where they're singing about like the upholstery. They're so weird, but they're this cool like Greek chorus rock band. Excuse me. And I love them, especially when they're the Undead, because I was just like, wait, are they murdering the audience with their bladed guitars? And yes, they are. They're fucking murdering the audience with blades at the end of their guitars. They're just stabbing people. It's crazy. And they also have like this pseudo Kiss makeup on. I was big into it. But man, when Beef has that, Beef's like first, when he's presented to the public, they sort of unleash him from this weird coffin, and he just does this. And like right to the camera. And it's the best look ever. Oh man. I really enjoyed Beef, if you couldn't tell. I really, really dug it. Okay, last thing. I'm just going to get into some things that I really liked, and then I'm going to leave you alone. There's this amazing split-screen oneer. That's right. There's a camera pointed at this time bomb, and then there's the camera pointed at the stage. The time bomb is sort of off stage, coming on stage, and then so it's like looking at the show that's happening and then coming in from the wings. But they're both happening simultaneously. You could even tell like the lead singer is lining up. So it's a oneer done all at once, but with two cameras from two different angles, and it's very like Touch of Evil, where they put the ticking dynamite in the trunk of the car, and we're very much aware of the ticking dynamite and sort of where is it going to wind up before the timer runs out, while we're also getting a chance to see the like show take place. And that camera is kind of like whipping around, and we'll see the Phantom, and we'll see Swan, and then we'll see the band. And then it was very cool and very clever. And I'm just like, Brian, you're the shit. I don't know if this was a direct reference or not, but there's a great Marx Brothers moment where when Swan presents the contract to Winslow, and it's, you know, this big, and there's this whole like party of the first part is the party of the second part. And I was like, oh, wait, that's from Night at the Opera. Which, Night at the Opera, Phantom of the Opera, Phantom of the Paradise. Good job, Brian De Palma. See? I'm with you, bro. And then, of course, there's the shower scene from Psycho that gets a little homage as well, where Beef is singing in the shower. and the Phantom comes and warns him, "You better not fucking sing my shit, bro. Only Phoenix can sing my shit." Yeah, I dig this movie. Watch it. Go watch this movie if you haven't watched it, and then go get the soundtrack and enjoy it, because if you're a Rocky Horror Picture Show lover, boom, you get a free sequel. It's not a sequel at all, and they're very different. But boy, oh boy, do they go together. Peanut butter and jelly are very different, but boy, oh boy, do they go together. Okay, keep a lookout. We're gonna have another pickup here pretty soon. But yeah, I love you guys. I'm glad you're here, and if you celebrate, happy Halloween.